Hi, this is Mr. B. I'm going to go over our test right here. This is the assessment over EE1. This is just the standard that we use. This is also called the expressions test number 1 for the enhanced class right here. Anyway, I'm just going to go over these answers with you, and you can follow along and maybe pick up a few skills right here too. There's basically 2 skills that are major skills right here: exponents and also evaluating and simplifying expressions. The first 5 or 6 problems, the first 3 problems right up here at the top of the page are looking at exponents right here. How well do you understand exponents? So let's take a look right here. We see 7 to the 5th power, and 7 to the 5th power means I have 5 7s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 7s that are multiplied together. So we're not adding 5 7s. We're not multiplying by 5. And nowhere in there is anything about multiplying by a 5 somewhere. So 5 7s multiplied together. And we're going to apply that knowledge to number 2 right here, where we see there are 7 4s, so 4 to the 7th power. And there are 5 groups of 13 right here, or not 5 groups rather, but 5 13s, so 13 to the 5th power. Let's take a look at number 3 right here. 2/3, the whole fraction, is to the 2nd power, which means 2/3 times 2/3. I see that right here. We are not multiplying by 2, so that is definitely not the case here. We're not multiplying this by 2. It's 2/3 that are multiplied, not added together. So that's going to be that right there out of the way. And what do we get when we do multiply 2/3 times 2/3? Well, just multiply straight across. 2 times 2, not that. 2 times 2, 3 times 3, and we get 4/9. So we have 2 answers right here and right here, those 2. All right, let's come down to the expressions right here, and I'm going to walk through step by step doing this. There are 2 skills that I'm looking for. One is the process skill, where we are writing down and copying down the expression every time we solve one of the problems. And the other skill is the order of operations. So the order of operations, let's just kind of review here. We first have grouping symbols. So we're looking for parentheses or brackets. This one, the second one down here, has all 3, braces and everything. So grouping symbols, we always work in them. We always want to find what our exponents are. We could do that first step, just get rid of our exponents and rewrite the problem, or rewrite that number. And then once we have that, we're looking at finishing up and completing all of the multiplying and dividing from left to right. So in this direction, we read it like a sentence, and we do all multiplying and dividing first. And once all of that is finished, then we look at adding and subtracting. And once again, we go from left to right. So let's take a look up here for number 4. I see there are grouping symbols, so I'm working inside of those grouping symbols. I want to do our exponents right off the bat, so I'm just going to do this. 6 to the 2nd power means 6 times 6, which is 36. So this problem is 36 minus 11 and 8/10. So I'm going to work inside these grouping symbols and get 24 and 2/10. Now we may have to work out here and do this by hand. That's how we got 24.2. So we've got this. Now the process skill is to copy everything else out. I did one problem, now I'm copying. Look, underneath the plus sign, I'm copying out the plus sign. I'm copying the number 12.3. I'm going to copy back here, minus 1. I'm looking, did I get everything correct? Are there any other grouping symbols I may have overlooked? And there's not. So this is the next expression right here. So that's the next line. Our next problem, I only see adding and subtracting, so we're in our last step here. We go from left to right, and we do this right here first. So we're going to add these and get 36.5, and then I'm going to copy, 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 copy all the rest of it out. And our last problem is 36.5 minus 1, so 35.5. And that is our final answer right there. So when I look at this, I'm grading 2 things. I want to see, are you writing each expression down after each step? And are you following the order of operations correctly? Those 2 things. This second problem here, number 5, is a little more complex. So let's work that out here. Once again, I see grouping symbols. I see this brace right here. That's just like parentheses. All right, that's a grouping symbol, and that means I cannot add 15 until I find one number for inside there. One number has to be in there, then the last thing I do is 15 plus that number. So I'm going to work inside that grouping symbol. And inside that grouping symbol, I see braces right here. And that tells me this has to be one number before I do 24 minus that number and then add the 3 1/4. So I can't do anything until I find what this number is. And inside those brackets, I see parentheses here. That tells me this number right here. I need to do this number, find that, and then do 35 divided by that one number. So the grouping symbols are always telling me there's one number. Find that one number in here. So my very first problem is going to be the inside grouping symbol, and I'm going to add those two. I can use a calculator or work that out. I'm going to get 5.6 as my answer. And then I have 35. I'm going to copy everything out. Copy it exactly. 15 plus. And you don't necessarily have to do a very artistic job of the brace. Just you could do parentheses if you want. Or 24, minus sign, bracket. Copy everything just like you see it. Now here we don't need the parentheses anymore because we've already added those. So the parentheses can disappear. So we have 35 divided by 5.6 plus, nope, we have the bracket. The parentheses are gone, but the bracket is there. And then plus 3 1/4, and then our brace. So I'm copying every single thing exactly as I see it. Our next problem is going to be here. Okay, so we divide that out. I'm copying this ahead of time. I'm getting all ready for my answer right there. And I end up with 6.25. Copying, copying, copying. Everything is copied exactly, even the braces and the brackets. So now I have my last grouping symbol, and I need to go from left to right, which means I'm first looking at 24 minus 6.25. And so that's going to be 17.75. Let's go ahead and copy everything down. 15 plus. Now we still have grouping symbols because we don't have one number yet in there. Plus sign here, 3 1/4. And I've just changed my grouping symbols into parentheses because there's only one group there. So there's one more step right here. Now 3 1/4, I do want to think I want that to be a decimal number. And that's pretty simple because 1/4 is 0.25, 25 hundredths. So I'm going to add 17 and 75 hundredths to 3 25 hundredths. And I get 21. Last final step, there's no more grouping symbols because I have my one number there, and 36 is the answer to that. That is how we work out all the problems on our test, and I hope that helps you out. Bye-bye.